Is your website not converting as well as it should? Well, today we're going to go through and look at some reasons why websites convert. What are the trust factors on a product page or a landing page that make users buy? So we're going to go through and look at some huge websites that everyone will know. And we're going to break them down to show exactly why you trust them. What elements are being shown that you instantly trust to put your credit card in on the checkout page to buy their products. But you've done everything that you think you should do. You've made your website fast, you've got high quality images, you've optimized your titles, your descriptions and so on, but your website still isn't performing at the levels that it should. And this is going to harm you in a few ways. You're either going to be spending way more on Google ads or Facebook ads than you should because the visitors coming to your site are liking your product, they're clicking over to your product to see exactly what it is you're offering, but they're not quite sure that they should trust you and they're not quite sure that you are a credible source. So we're gonna go through and look at some elements that will help you improve that, but also all this SEO work you're doing, all these hours and hours of writing content, getting ranking on search engines, so on. Every visitor that comes and doesn't end up in a sale is a lost opportunity. Here at Convertica, we've worked with hundreds of e-commerce websites now, and we see the same problems all the time. A lot of websites are so easy to set up these days on Shopify, on WordPress, and a lot of people are doing it for themselves, but even people who don't do it for themselves are using developers that don't have a marketing skill or a marketing mindset when they go into creating these websites. So they're usually easy to use, they're usually fast loading, and they're usually quite intuitive, and they have nice UX, but they're missing a lot of these credibility indicators that build trust, make it easy to buy, and help you to push users into a conversion. So we're going to jump right in and have a look at some well-known brands and show exactly why they're converting, how they're converting, and what makes you trust them instantly when jumping on their website. So now we're going to go through and look at Amazon because they're the best in the game. They have an inbuilt split testing algorithm that's always testing. So these elements have been proven across huge amounts of sample data, and we can have a few takeaways on why they're converting, and you can see what elements maybe you're missing that you can add to your e-commerce website to optimize your conversions, build trust, and make more sales. So first off, of course, we've got very high quality product images showing everything about the product, showing what's in the product, a very clear outline of what the product is, how many you get. Now this is super important. Having review stars directly below the title is absolutely huge. Every client that we add this to just below the title has an increase in conversions because instantly it builds trust and credibility. If you have 22,913 ratings that are that high, it also will increase your conversions too, obviously, or even a few hundred, or even 50 or 60 are better than none. But having more reviews and more ratings, and of course you can click that and go down to each individual review, and of course the positives and negatives are both here. But having this right here, most people won't even click. Just that, showing the 4.5 or 4.3 out of 5, having the full ratings, and then having these unanswered questions is huge too. If you can build out these answers and questions on your website, that'll be huge too. Of course, this will take time, but it's similar to a FAQ, right? It's frequently asked questions. They've got people answering them, and it allows them to not have to get in contact with the seller. If you can answer all the questions on the landing page, that'll do really well for conversions too. And on top of that, the Amazon choice has been added, which further builds credibility. And some other really high converting elements that we've tested on different e-commerce websites too is these buttons. These type of buttons work much better than pop-down lists or lists where you click them like here, and then you can select the option. Especially when you don't have a huge amount. So if you have below 5, even below 10, it's worth testing. Just having them all laid out next to each other has a higher conversion rate, which is what they've done. All the product data, all the product images, and a bit more about this item. And of course they can go down if they want to read more and see the full sales content. The reason that Amazon has put this way down here is because, to be honest, most people don't read it. I can't think of the last time I went all the way down and read a product description, but it's there because there are people obviously that need to know more, and again, more data, more information, and so on, and then the reviews. So it's a really high converting product page. So we'll jump onto another really high converting landing page. Again, these guys have so much data, we might as well learn off the pros. So Apple does a great job at setting up minimal landing pages, and then although it's subtle and you may have not noticed it, these things have a really high impact on conversion too. These are called credibility indicators, so fast, free, contactless delivery, and free and easy returns. It reduces anxiety because you're going, well, what if I don't need it or don't want it, or maybe you're giving it as a gift and the person doesn't actually want the product. This reduces that anxiety. And then on top of that, they've got a nice little, very subtle, have any questions about buying an iPhone, chat with a specialist. Now, if you have enough traffic and have enough volume of visitors where you need to put someone on to answer these, you can do that. But there's also services available where they can you can have them manning the message boxes 24/7 to help the users answer questions and so on. So there are services out there to do that. I was also, while researching for this video, I found this website. While it has actually a pretty horrible product page, there's one really cool element that if you have a really low cost product and a high margin product, you might want to try this out. So they've got a try a sample section on their website just below the add to cart, that if you're not quite sure that their product is exactly what you want, they actually send you out a sample to win you over, which is really cool. I'm sure that when that arrives, that comes with sign up information to try and hook you in there. But they've obviously worked out that giving away that's what's called a loss leader, so it costs them money to try and sign you up, actually ends up making them more money in the long term, which is pretty cool. Now, on top of adding these high converting elements to your e-commerce website, having an about us page can be really important too, especially in this day and age. If you're a business that isn't well known and no one really has any trust for you yet, building out an about us page that's super credible can help with conversions too. So Zendesk, pretty well known support desk CRM platform, has done a really good job at building credibility, and I'm going to take some of these things away and split test them on our own webpage because these are fantastic. Aside from the text, we're people, they've got all their staff, multicultural staff, all people of all different races, showing that they're diverse and they don't discriminate, which is really cool for conversions. And then here it is here too, diversity and inclusion. We're good neighbors, let's get together. And this is really cool. They go through and show different metrics. They got 160,000 paid customer accounts, 4,000 global employees, 160 customer countries and territories, 38,000 global volunteer hours, just building credibility over and over again with high quality real photos, non-stock photos, which builds a lot of credibility too. And all of these things together help to build a real positive representation of this company. And then once you go to the product page, if you have, people have already been won over by your vision, your ethics, your morals, and so on, they'll be much more likely to buy into your story and into your product. So there's plenty of on-page elements that we've gone through that make for a high converting e-commerce website. But it's all about painting the real picture of your company. It's all about having a professional website, high quality photos. Don't use stock photos if you can. Obviously, if you're a startup and you don't have a team yet, you may have to use maybe cartoons or stock photos to build out the About Us page and so on. But in order to convert well, you need to tell your story. You need to be able to communicate your products correctly to your customer. People aren't in stores touching, feeling the products. You need to be able to communicate that message through to them over your website. Now I've just gone through a bunch of on-page elements. Now the things that I haven't spoke about, make sure your website loads quickly, make sure that you have high quality photos, make sure that your titles are well written, having good product descriptions work well, but we've noticed that above the add to cart button and below the title of the product, just having 3 to 5 points and features and benefits about your product is enough. And then if people want to read more, they can scroll down and read more. But most people just want a quick summary. But if you're looking for a company or service to do this all for you, jump over to convertica.org and we'll go through and do a conversion audit on your website and show you exactly where we think we can increase conversion rates. And we'll go into detail and give you the full strategy for that, absolutely free. So if you'd like to take us up on that, jump over to convertica.org and we'll chat to you soon.